Last time a regular Tom.
Hey, Simon, are you wearing Scooby-Doo socks?
I love Scooby-Doo.
Scoo.
Oh, what, you mean these? Oh, yeah, it's, it's the mystery machine. I figure probably ought to wear them because, that's my nickname and all.
Are you sure? I mean, since when? I've never heard anybody call you the Mystery Machine.
Oh, yeah, the mystery machine. That's what everyone calls me.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I mean, people call me that all the time. Right, guys?
No. Yeah, that's what I thought. Why would anybody call you the Mystery Machine anyway? I don't get it.
It's like, the harder you drive me, the worse my gas mileage is.
Okay. That could also be said of any vehicle.
Yeah, but Hugo, Mack Truck, and Big Daddy Diesel were already taken.
Okay, sure. What do you want, like, a name to do with, like, the cold or spices or something like that? I don't know.
Listen, I already tried all that, okay? And I got some cease and desist letters from Chili McFreeze, Big Matty Snow Daddy, his girlfriend, Little Jilly McChilly, and their son, Joey Snowy, okay? I can't do that. I am the Mystery Machine, okay?
Well, maybe you should get, like, a nickname based on what you're good at, instead of something you just want. Like, check out this guy right here on this video. Check out what I found.
Is it a flea circus?
No, it's a video of a guy. He's dancing at the club across the street. He's apparently really good at it.
Well, what's his name? Can he do the tuck and roll? Because I can do the tuck and roll.
I don't know his name. Everybody's just referring to him as the booty got me like guy. I don't know what he looks like either. Videos of him never show his face. He just appears to be a tall, white plastic cup or something.
Booty got me like guy. I could be that. People call me that all the time.
No way, boy, they call me that because I'm a meatball and the meatball with the booty shake.
How many times are you going to repeat that same old line off the freaking television show?
Hey, quit arguing over there. Check out these comments on this video. Like this one right here. Whoa-wee. That booty got me like. And I am definitely a lady.
I mean, he's not that impressive. I mean, look, he stole that dance move from me.
That was just a cheap knockoff of the tuck and roll.
I know. I stole it from you.
Well, I think he's really good.
Are you kidding me? This is an outrage.
You telling me? I got a trademark on the tuck and roll. And let me tell you something else. I am going to whip some serious honey if I do not get my royalties paid within the next couple of days.
No. It's not that. It's a women think his booty looks better than mine. I mean, no. It's an outrage because he's coming in here on our turf, in our practice hall / restaurant / club / playhouse / mansion / Marshall East playground. I smell Tex-Mex candy.
Which is also the name of our band.
Yeah. That too. And he thinks he could just steal from us and it go unnoticed? No, sir, let me tell you something. Justice will be served.
Take it easy there, Wichita. He's not in any of your hall / club / whatever the crap you listed off. He's in the club across the street over there. Jeez.
No, none of that matters. No. I mean, I know I said all those things, but none of that crap matters. All that matters is he's stealing our moves and justice will be served. And let me tell you something. You get ready because we're going to take it to the streets. And then once we take it to the streets, we're going to come back in here and we're going to host a get-together where everybody's going to come and we're going to have a dance-off and I'm going to show how big of a loser he is.
Time out, call up the guest list. We have an ascended tonight. Media Mondays is officially a thing now.
Can we do karaoke?
Simon, you better come take a look at this boy.
Spin it round drink cup cause that booty got me like.
Are you kidding me? You're the booty got me like guy?
Do I now? I mean, yeah? Now and forever?
No, don't listen to him, Werber.
Who are you?
He's not the booty got me like God. I am the booty got me like God. He stole those moves from me.
Yeah, and he stole them from me too.
I mean, look, he ain't even got no booty. He's a drink cup.
Oh my gosh, he's right. I just opened my eyes because they were closed. And now I see. He doesn't have a booty.
How dare you?
How dare you? Stealing the tuck and roll like that.
Look, I'm sorry, buddy. I just wanted to impress Irma is all.
Not you, Simon. I meant the booty got me like that. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Pops, give it a rest. Now you listen here, Mr. Booty got me like wannabe. Back in my day, like yesterday, the ladies were lined up all around asking me what my secret was.
Yeah, well, What'd you tell him? Was it Maybelline or Blue Chew or DiGiorno? It was Blue Chew, wasn't it? Of course it was Blue Chew. Idiot.
No, I don't even know what that means. Look, I just looked at him and I said, ladies, squats. Wait, no. I said, lunges for the ladies.
Yeah, and you can't be doing the tuck and roll either, because I got it patented, and I got a real trademark, and I called a real lawyer, because he had a tie and a suitcase and everything.
Yeah, well, one of us is about to do the tuck and roll straight to the dumpster out back if he doesn't shut his face.
Yeah, well, you bring it on, big boy. I hit you with the hot dog.
Wait a sec, you know the hot dog? What about the igloo?
Oh, you didn't know? You better call somebody!
Yeah, well, you touch me, and I will have to melt you with my lasers.
Yeah, well, then I will have to blast you with my meat cannon.
Yeah, well, fine.
Wait,
Let's
no,
do
no,
it.
look. Just,
Random guy over there that keeps talking. Tell us when.
Okay. Draw.
Pew pew pew.
Pew, 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 pew. Eat this, you scumbag. Pew, pew, pew.
look, quit, both of you. Just stop pointing at each other and making noises, please. You're embarrassing me in front of Irma.
This party is both the greatest thing and the worst thing I've ever experienced. But I'm leaving. Who's going with me?
Wait, no, you can't go. I'm the booty got me like God.
Guys, quit fighting. We can all be the booty got me like guy.
I don't care anymore. I just want to watch Thundercats.
Yes, well, they're all gone. Thus ends the reign of the booty got me like guy.
You know, it could have been worse. I mean, the other guy could have showed up.
Good Lord, you ain't kidding.
That sorry sack is the worst. He's definitely not the booty got me like guy. Am I right, huh?
Yeah, well, at least we can agree on that, I guess.
You want to record a podcast sometime?
We're a little worn out from putting this shit back together. I think we're just gonna let the other guy do his thing tonight.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Just a Regular Show About the Regular Show. I'm your host, No One Cares. And today we're going to be talking about Season 2, Episode 6, entitled My Mom. As you probably guessed, it's a Muscle Man episode, and boy, is it a humdiggity. As I record this podcast, it's September 9th, 2023, several months before you will actually listen to it. And at this time, I will make a prediction that as you listen to this podcast, I have a listener count of 5. So you 5 that are listening, thank you very much. This podcast goes out to you. My Mom aired January 31st, 2011 in the US and May 2nd, 2011 in the UK. To give you a contextual mosaic of what was going on in the world, January 31st, 2011, let's talk about movies, music, video games, and all that jazz. Now, ironically, there's no jazz on the music list for this week. Probably not really all ironically, but that's okay. Number 1 UK song, We Are Who We Are, Kesha. I know who Kesha is. I don't know the song. Although I did listen to that Grenade song. It came on the radio, coincidentally, last week as I was driving to town. Yes, it's that song about going through pain, bullet through the brain, all that jazz. I don't really, I don't know. I don't know much else about the song. I listened to it. I guess I can see why it has the appeal to be a number 1 song at the time. So, yeah. Number 1 R&B song this week, Can't Be Friends, Trey Songz. Number 1 country song, Somewhere With You, Kenny Chesney. Number 1 alternative hit, Waiting for the End, Linkin Park. Number 1 dance track, Tonight, I'm Loving You, Enrique Iglesias featuring Ludacris and DJ Frankie. And the movies from last week haven't really changed all that much. The Ride is number 1 at the box office, and everything else is relatively stagnant, so there's not much to talk about there. Video games, we pretty much talked about most of that last week, so nothing really different there. So what I did to change things up, I pulled up the TV guide for January 31st, 2011, and I looked at all the shows coming on, and the most exciting thing, besides the regular show and Adventure Time, was probably the Weather Channel. There just wasn't much on TV. I mean, none of this junk I watched. Pretty Little Liars, never watched it, but maybe that's interesting. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But one thing interesting I do want to point out is that Cartoon Network on the TV Guide has Adventure Time listed as Adventure Time with Finn and Jake. So there we go. Pretty cool. Adventure Time with Finn and Jake. So I realized something the other day. All these scenarios I've been giving you for the premiere of regular show, I keep saying maybe it's a Friday, maybe it's Saturday. No, they're all Mondays because all the regular shows aired on Monday. Don't know what I was thinking. I apologize. Let's look at the Cartoon Network lineup for January 31st, 2011. 12 a.m., we got Mongo Wrestling Alliance, Trap a Giant. It's a new episode. This is the Adult Swim block, by the way. 12:15, we have Super Jail. 12:30, Metalocalypse with Murdering Outside the Box. 12:45, Aqua Teen Hunger Force Ballooninstein. So what's happened here is Aqua Teen Hunger Force is going back to the season 1 episode. They're running reruns, I believe. I do remember Ballooninstein. That's the one where Meatwad's out in the ocean saying, "Do what now?" a whole bunch of times. Very early episode. It might be like number 4, maybe. 2, 4. I think it's number 4 because the Leprechaun episode is number 2, I think. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. 1 o'clock, King of the Hill, Soldier of Misfortune. Now, if that's the one I'm thinking of, that is an epic episode. That's the one where Dale becomes a mercenary for hire. And that episode is fantastic. That's where we get the legendary pocket sand from. So, yes, one of my favorite episodes of King of the Hill. Fantastic. Family Guy, McStroke. I do remember that episode because of a joke that Peter says. Don't really want to talk about Family Guy all that much, though. And then Big Man on Hippocampus would be the second episode of the Family Guy block. Children's Hospital at 2:30. Robot Chicken 2:45 with Kramer versus Showgirls. That sounds interesting. Mongo Wrestling, basically reruns. Okay, reruns again until 4 o'clock. Then we get Baby Blues. 4:30, The Oblongs. 5 o'clock, we get King of the Hill with Goodbye Normal Jeans. And then Soldier of Misfortune again. 6 o'clock, we start the Cartoon Network block. Hero 108, Ben 10 Alien Force. Then we get the Who Cares block or the Who Knows What They Are, Bakugan and Beyblade. What's the difference? Get the Pokemon block at 8 o'clock. I'm sorry, not a block, just Pokemon. Diamond Pearl Galactic Battles. Hot Wheels Battle Force 5 at 8:30. Total Drama Island at 9 o'clock. Johnny Test 9:30 to 10. Powerpuff Girls at 10:30 with the episode Moral Decay and Meet the Beat-Alls. Like the Beatles, but the Beat-Alls. Yeah. What's New Scooby-Doo? Episode code 112. So that's probably season 1, episode 12. Dexter's Lab at 11:30. Papa Wheelie and a mom cartoon and The Mock Side of the Moon. Interesting names there. Yeah, very interesting. All right, Codename Kid Next Door, Operation Ice Cream, and Operation Cannon. And then Operation, I don't even know how to say that, No Power. Yeah, Operation No Power. There we go. Tom and Jerry at 1 o'clock, Hero 108, League of Super Evil 2:30, Ed, Ed, and Eddie, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Johnny Test, 16, Total Drama World Tour, My Dad's a Pro. I don't think I've ever heard of that one. That might have been one of them, like, wait a sec. That's saying like it came on at 6:58 and ended at 7 o'clock. So maybe it was like a really short, really short episode type of show. 2-minute show. Huh. 7 o'clock, Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, The Secret Serum. Okay. Johnny Test is at 7:30. Adventure Time with the Pods. That's a new episode. That's the one where they grow giant beanstalks out of the ground. It's about all I remember about that one. 8:15, we got the regular show with the episode we're talking about today, My Mom. Fantastic episode. Mad came on after that. Regular show comes on at 8:45. It's Time. Okay, that's the episode where Mordecai knocks Rigby off the microwave. I think we talked about that one a little bit back, so maybe you can go check out that episode. King of the Hill at 9 o'clock with Hank's Dirty Laundry and the final Shinsult. Okay, that one's definitely to do with cotton. That might be the one where he goes to Japan, but I'm not sure. American Dad at 10 o'clock. That's Franny 911 and Surrogate. And then Family Guy. So, there's your lineup for Cartoon Network January 31st, 2011. Quite honestly, there was some good episodes of King of the Hill. I can vouch for that. But probably, I would say regular show would be the highlight of this night, quite honestly. Just looking at everything else. And I have I've been very transparent. I haven't seen all this stuff. I don't watch Hot Wheels Battle 5 or whatever. But out of the stuff I have seen on this lineup, I would say that the regular show was the best episode of the night. I guess that's about it for that. So, and by the way, yes, the My Mom episode, I do think My Mom is better than It's Time. So let's go ahead and talk about the episode at hand here. My Mom, production code 206, directed by Mike Roth, written and storyboarded by Kat Morris. Previous episode was Dizzy, which was a fantastic episode, turns out. I highly recommend you go and watch that episode. Maybe even listen to that episode of this podcast. I don't know. That's up to you. But do watch the episode. It's a great one. Next episode, High Score. That's also a very good one. And I do believe that this is a very good episode as well. So the synopsis of the episode, Mordecai and Rigby must be supervised by Muscle Man and High Five Ghost on a trip to buy a lemon tree from the nursery, but are annoyed by Muscle Man's My Mom joke. Sounds like a simple enough plot, right? But let's see here. Characters. Voice of the characters, Mordecai, obviously J.G. Quintel, Rigby, William Salyers. Benson and Muscle Man would be Sam Marin. What's this name here? I can't hardly read it. Cop. Yeah, Cop and Muscle Man's brother would be Steve Bloom. We all know who Steve Bloom is. That's Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop, and Tom from Toonami. Legendary voice actor. I didn't know that he came in this series this early. I knew he was the Technomancer guy, but I'm actually very surprised that he's in this episode. But yeah, they do some really cool stuff with the Halloween episodes with his characters too. Pretty cool. One of them dresses up as Spike Spiegel. So it's pretty cool on the Halloween episodes, yeah. So let's see. What's this name? Bobby. The character of Bobby is played by Tiny Lister. And you may not know that name, but if you're familiar with Zeus in the WWE or Debo from the Friday movie, the movie titled Friday, and I think he's in next Friday as well. He plays him. So unfortunately, he has passed away at the time of recording, but it's pretty cool that he got to be on the regular show. And Jimmy is played by Brad Culver. Now, I looked up Brad Culver, and looking at his profile here, he is known for the regular show, The Next Big Thing. I guess actually he's got quite a few things. Nothing that I'm really familiar with, though. Westwood, I've heard of that, but I don't know what it is. But let's see, the characters he plays Jimmy the taco truck vendor, and he plays the Velvet Overkill, I believe I was looking at. And the Velvet Overkill is a very minor character in the episode Trash Boat that we'll talk about in the future, which is another great episode. And the Velvet Overkill is that whole gimmick there, that spiel, the little bit they do is quite humorous. So I look forward to talking about that one. So yeah, that's the cast of this episode. The locations involved: the park, nursery, forest, taco clock. That's a pretty good name for a taco truck. Taco clock. So yeah, looking here, there's not much trivia that won't be pointed out in the episode. Pop culture reference: the Poison song "Nothing But a Good Time" plays in the montage. Well, that's not giving away anything. You knew there'd be a montage in this episode. It's a regular show episode. So yeah, So as you're watching, look out for this goop. When Muscle Man High Fives Ghost, Mordecai and Rigby are driving back from the nursery after picking up a tree. In the wide shot, High Five Ghost is not in the cart. In the next scene, he is there with the others. But you know what? High Five Ghost is a goat. If he wants to disappear and reappear, let him do it. It's probably in his contract, okay? Alrighty, so getting into this episode, it opens up with the routine bird chirping, the boom and the purple black screen, and then the birds chirping. But we don't open up at the park though, so I don't know why the birds are chirping, but that's okay. We've grown to love it. So the episode actually opens up at a tree nursery. It just says nursery up at the top, and it's a very entertaining opening, quite honestly, just going back and watching it. I remember it now that I watch it, but it wasn't something that stuck out to me beforehand. So what ends up happening is that Mordecai and Rigby are getting a lemon tree, and I guess they're late. So they run out to the golf cart, and like they kick the door open, and you have like this real suspenseful music. This da 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 da. And they're actually sorry, I still got Cowboy Bebop on the brain, but no, it's no, that's Star Wars. You just have to listen. So I can't play that right now. Too flustered right now. Anyway, they're running to the golf cart trying to tie the lemon tree down, and Mordecai's going, "We're not going to make it. We're not going to make it." And they get in the golf cart and they drive off and they run this red car off the road, just like first thing within 10 seconds of the episode. And they're driving and Rigby's like, "Take this street right here," and they take a right and they cut down the street. And then you cut to the park and it's Benson and Skips, and it's this like, real. It's a different music. It's kind of like a whimsical music, and he's like, and Benson's like, "I told you they weren't gonna. I told you we couldn't rely on them," or something like that. And then you see Mordecai and Rigby start like driving up, and their suspense music kicks back in, and Mordecai's like, "We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it." And then they hit a rock, and it causes the cart to. It doesn't flip, but it veers off the road or off the sidewalk, I should say, and runs into a light pole, and the tree gets wedged somehow, and they start to pull on it, and it pulls all the leaves off, and in the end of it, you got a pot with like a tree with two branches and one single lemon stuck to one of these branches with no leaves. Rigby picks up the leaves, and they're trying to run them to Benson. So they run like 6 steps, and Mordecai's like, "Here," and Rigby's like, "Here's the lemon tree you asked for." And Benson looks up at the tree, and the one lemon, it falls off to the ground. And Rigby says, "I think he sold us a lemon, if you know what I mean." And he starts to crack up. And Benson about explodes. He turns red, and he starts getting real mad. He's like, "Argh." And he goes, "No, you know what? I blame myself for trusting you two morons to do anything important." And he says, "Obviously, you need supervision." And Mordecai's like, "Super what now?" So he calls up Muscle Man he gets on the golf cart's like walkie-talkie or the comm radio, whatever, and he says, "Muscle Man, high fives, goes, get down here. I need you for an important job," or something like that. And this is, if I'm recalling correctly, probably the first time that, maybe not the first time, but this is closer to the traditional Muscle Man voice that that I can remember in my head when I think of Muscle Man. So Muscle Man says, "We'll be right down there." And basically, Mordecai's not keen on the idea. Neither one of them are, Rigby or Mordecai. But Benson says, "It doesn't matter. If you screw this job up, I'm going to have you supervised again and again and again and again." So he drives off, and Mordecai says, "This blows." And he says, "You know what the worst part is?" And Rigby says, "The smell." And he goes, "No, all those stupid my mom jokes that Muscle Man keeps making." So we're going to find out. Well, we've already been introduced to that, earlier. So that's kind of foreshadowing, but really it's more of a callback to just all the. He's probably done it 5 or 6 times, I would imagine, maybe a little bit more up to this point in the series. So the next thing's actually a pretty decent one too. You hear, like right on cue, you hear music, from the distance, electric guitar type stuff, and you hear just Muscle Man over there, and he's bouncing up over the hills in the golf cart with High Fives Ghost, and he pulls in and he slides it in there, and the cart teeters up on the one side, and bounces back down, and he's just all, well, looks like somebody needs some supervision. Then he says, "You know who else needs supervision?" And then predictably he says, "My mom." And he says, "Now get in the back cart so I can supervise you." And then they take off, and they're riding around doing their duties and everything. So Muscle Man is up on the dashboard. He's got one foot on the dashboard and one foot in the seat, and he's playing the air guitar. And he's just like, "I love to rock," or so, something like that. And Mordecai's in the back. I mean, I don't know how he's driving the cart, but Mordecai's in the back. He's like, "I don't know how much longer I could take this." Or Rigby says it. I think Mordecai's like, "Look, we can't mess this up. We got to do this right." And Rigby looks at it. He goes, "Oh, sick." And Muscle Man's up there. He's like playing the air guitar. Like it really reminds me of Terry Kath from Chicago, the way he's bouncing back and forth. And actually the haircut and everything reminds me a lot of Terry Kath from Chicago. But he's like, he's like bending over and then pelvic thrusting like he's playing the guitar. He's really getting into it. His butt cracks hanging out the back of his pants, and he's bouncing back and forth right in Rigby's face. And he goes, "I love this tasty lick." Rigby says, "I'm jumping." And I was like, "No, you can't. You can't." So he tells Rigby, he's like, "Look, the nursery's right there. We're almost there. Don't worry." And Muscle Man just drives straight past it. And he goes, "Muscle Man, what are you doing? The nursery's right there." He goes, "Don't get your panties in the wad, dude. I know a shortcut. And he goes, but the nursery's right there. And like they pass right by it. And he points and he goes, who's supervising who? No, shut your word hole. I'm trying to listen to my jam, which, by the way, based on the distance they probably drove, this is like probably one of those Bob Dylan hurricane type songs where it's like 15 minutes long or something. And it's just been an electric guitar just wailing the whole time. So yeah, that's Muscle Man to a T right there. But anyway, they drive past that nursery and they're headed into the woods or like a forest. So they eventually pull up on the taco clock truck. And they're like, what do you do? And High Fives goes, he starts smiling real big. His face like lights up. I don't know if he says anything in this episode or not. Maybe he does. This might be like the first episode besides that just set up the chairs where he says anything at all. I can't really remember, but I think I don't know. I'm not going to get hung up on that. Sorry. But they get to this. They're like, what are we doing? He goes, it's lunchtime. This place has the best tacos in the city. And you're going to have to forgive me because this is a lot of my mom jokes to remember. But he goes, you know who else has the best tacos in the city? And then Rigby cuts him off and says, dude, Benson will blow a fuse if he finds out we're slacking. He says, you know who else will blow a fuse if she finds out we're slacking? And then Mordecai says, dude, we don't have time for this. And he says, you know who else doesn't have time for this? And then Mordecai and Rigby go, ah. And he goes, you know who else says ah? And then finally, my mom, and it's like the loudest my mom of that we've heard so far, at least. So yeah, it's just like the whole episode is just built around the my mom joke, but they stack it so well, and they just like double down on it, and it's kind of obnoxious, but you can't help but laugh at it. So Mordecai's like, can we at least eat after we pick up the tree? And he says, no can do. High Fives goes, gotta have his tacos. And then he goes, watch this. He picks up the CB radio or whatever it is, the walkie-talkie thing. Benson, come in. Is it okay if we stop and eat some lunch before we get the tree and everything? And Benson chimes back and says, sure thing. I know you guys will get it done. And Mordecai and Rigby are like, they're amazed. They're how'd you do that? And he says, what, you don't check in? And they're like, no. And he goes, you got to check in. Benson's the boss. He's got to know where you are at all times. And so it's the way he places emphasis on it. It's one of those delivery lines, the way that he delivers it. It's the humor's kind of in that. So High Fives Ghost and Muscle Man go over to the truck, and Rigby just says, how come you never check in? Mordecai punches him, kind of what you come to expect from those characters. But they're going up to the taco truck, and the guy running it, he's like, Muscle Man, HFG, long time no see. And then he says, who are those losers? And the camera cuts to Mordecai and Rigby just kind of staring at him. And Muscle Man says, oh, just some chumps of supervising. I got to make sure they do it right. And the taco truck guy, I guess it's Jimmy or Bobby or one or the other, he says, man, I feel sorry for you guys. And then Muscle Man says, you know who I feel sorry for? And then he says, of course, my mom. And then they do that thing that's like synonymous with the regular show, where they've all got their arm curved up over their head, pointing downward. And it's the taco truck guy, High Fives Ghost, and Muscle Man. And Mordecai and Rigby are just watching. And then Muscle Man grabs the side of the taco truck and starts doing the thing that he's doing with the air guitar. He's like pressing down on the truck and rocking back and forth, and his butt cracks hanging out of his pants, of course. And the truck's like rocking. I guess it's like so, it gets everybody so fired up that it gets Rigby into it too, because he puts his hand up and he starts going, oh! And then Mordecai just punches him to stop it. But yeah, that kind of caught me off guard. I did like that. So they all get around to taco. Well, Muscle Man and High Fives get around to tacos for making the taco truck guy laugh. And Mordecai's like, I can't believe he thought that was funny. And then Ricky says, well, I guess he's just insulting himself. So whatever. Scene cuts and Muscle Man's finishing up like his pop or soda, whatever. And Mordecai's like, can we get moving? It's getting dark. We're running out of time here. And he says, relax. High Fives Ghost knows how to hot wire the cart to make it go crazy fast. So Fives goes over to the top of the cart with his one hand there, and he opens up the cart and he starts finagling with the stuff inside the motor of the cart. And Muscle Man says, you know who taught Fives how to hot wire a cart to make it go crazy fast where he can get away with slacking off at work and not get in trouble with the boss? And then just pause like 2 or 3 seconds. Then he goes, my Uncle John, he's a mechanic. So yeah, they kind of throw in like a tiny curveball there. That was also one of the trivia things on the Wiki fandom page. So Rigby's response to my Uncle John, he's a mechanic, is that's cool. And then, of course, Muscle Man, you know who taught him? My mom. Yeah, he does another my mom. And then every time they're building up this common trope where every time he says he drops a my mom joke, high fives gives him the high five, you know. So yeah, Mordecai and Rigby, they're like done with it. They don't, or they're getting really annoyed with it at least. So Muscle Man, he's like, get in the cart, babies, it's time to roll, or something like that. And he just, you know, he drives off in the cart. It's going like super fast, you know, and he's the first. It's a montage. Okay, so sorry, I should have said that, but it's a montage of this episode, and it's just all this crazy stuff they're doing on the cart. And the first thing is, if I recall correctly, there's like a train crossing at a train track, and there's like a gap in the cars. So they jump the cart through that. And then Mordecai's like, where are you going? The road's that way or something. And he says, don't tell me where the road's at, baby. And then he drives them through like this big old, that's like water running across the road and a bunch of like all these stones and stuff in the golf cart. And then they ramp up a hill onto the interstate and they're outrunning all these cars. And then you see a cop sitting in the bushes in like a speed trap. You know, you see his glasses and all that, like he's, you know, super serious. And then he takes off chasing them. And then he gets up beside him and he starts yelling. He said, hey, Muscle Man, you know how to break the law in all the right ways. And then they get close to each other and they give each other a high five. And they're like, yeah. Then the cop breaks and Muscle Man just keeps going. It's like, this is awesome. So finally, after all this crap, they pull up at the nursery. It's like, could you not have just kind of turned around and, you know, went, I don't know, maybe a mile or two back the road, if that, to the nursery, but oh well. So they get inside the nursery and Mordecai and Rigby are trying to lift up that lemon tree. And Muscle Man comes up and he's like, what are you doing? Trying to throw your back out? And that's actually going to come into play. That's a big part of an episode way later, seasons later, where the back lifters come into play and stuff. They move crap with their backs. They don't dare lift with their legs. And anyway, he's like, you don't lift that. That's what Bobby's for. And Bobby is the guy played by Tiny Lister. So he says, that's what Bobby's for. And he says, hey, yo, Bobby. And then Bobby walks up and he looks just like Debo. I mean, like he's animated that way and everything. He's got a cut off denim shirt. It says Bobby on it. It says Bobby here lifts like a pro. And he says, hey, Bobby, you know who else lifts like a pro? And then, of course, my mom, you know, and Bobby thinks it's hilarious, and he grabs a tree, and starts to walk it out, and Rigby says, hey, I think Muscle Man's kind of cool. And then Muscle Man's walking behind Bobby, and he's going, lift with the legs, Bobby. Lift with the legs, Bobby. Lift with the legs. Like my mom, you know, and it's cracking up Bobby. And Mordecai's just like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, the way it's live with the legs, Bobby, just like my mom. It's just ridiculous. So they're driving back, and Mordecai's like, well, I'm glad that's over. And then, of course, Muscle Man just drives right past the park, and he's like, what are you doing? He goes, relax, grandmas, or relax, ladies, or something. We've got all day. Let's have some fun. And then we get a second montage, one with like legit music, licensed music. It's the Nothing But a Good Time song from Poison. And it's actually very, very fitting. I'm not the biggest like hair metal fan, or I don't even know what you would call. I guess that would be hair metal, hair music, you know, from the 80s. But this song just, I mean, it's a, you know, whatever. I'm just kind of burnt out on it. But this song fits that montage so great because they go into the arcade, and they're playing like this Double Dragon type game, or you know, like the Simpsons arcade game with the 4 players, and what was the, hang on, let me look at what the name of that arcade cabinet was. Okay, so after looking back, there's 3 arcade cabinets there that I can see. One of them just says Ninja. The other one says Percolator. I don't know what exactly what that one would be about, but the one they were playing is called Giganto Fist. And yes, there is a hyphen in the middle of that. Anyway, you know, don't need nothing but a good time playing. And Muscle Man's kind of playing it, you know. Mordecai, though, he's kind of giving him the cold shoulder. He's like got his back turned to him, and he's trying to look away. And Muscle Man kind of glances out of you know, gives him the side eye, and Mordecai's giving him the side eye, trying to look away. And then Muscle Man, you know, they don't say anything, but like he looks and he takes a quarter, like he starts to slap the buttons, you know, like come play this. And he takes a quarter and puts it in. Mordecai goes over, they start playing, and all 4 of them are having a really good time. Then they go to the movies, and it's this it's some like B horror movie, one of those campy movies, and it's like this slime monster and a lady, I'm thinking. And Muscle Man's actually being really, he's being really nice to Mordecai. So Mordecai starts warming up, I think, and then they go bowling, and High Fives Ghost rolls the bowling ball down the alley, and it's just really cool. They're giving each other fives and stuff. That's kind of what this show. This really is. It's like the show is actually officially begun at this point. It may not be as regular show as the regular show gets, but this is kind of like, yeah, certainly, yes. This is where the regular show is. It's obviously the regular show now. It's not. It's still the characters, and I say this probably every week. The characters still aren't nearly fully developed or anything, but the core of the show is now in place. You've got multiple characters having these feel good times with each other. Just hanging out and stuff, with music playing in the background and montages and cultural references and just cool stuff, these witty one-liners, and all the characters have their own personalities at this point. Maybe, well, yeah, Pops has his own personality. I mean, he's not the Pops that you come to know eventually, but they all have kind of their archetype at this point. So High Fives Ghost may be the exception, but other than that, the show it's really it's at least half swing. I mean, I would argue that it's nearly full swing. So good enough for a base hit, in my opinion, for sure. So yeah, they're all having this feel good time and everything. And Mordecai comes around, he's thinking, hey, maybe Muscle Man is pretty cool after all. So on the cart drive back, Muscle Man turns around, or he's up front. He doesn't turn around. He's up front driving. He says, thanks guys. I haven't had quality bro time in ages. And then he said, well, before that, sorry, Mordecai's like, Muscle Man's pretty cool, all except for those my mom jokes. I'm going to say something. And Ruby's like, don't try to change Muscle Man. That's not cool. The Muscle Man says, I haven't had quality bro time in forever. Thank you guys. It means a lot and everything. Even though I mess around a lot. And then he says, hey, Mordecai, you know who else messes around a lot? And then it's like slow motion. It shows his mouth moving and everything. And it's just, it's all, pitched down real low. Mom. And that's like the breaking point for Mordecai. But I do want to point out that there's no way it's a coincidence that all of these my mom jokes are making Muscle Man's mother sound like one of the most promiscuous women on the face of the earth. Like, it's just, lift with the legs, Bobby, like my mom. Who else messes around a lot? My mom. Who else says this? My mom. It's just ridiculous. And then Mordecai's had enough. He's like, you're saying it wrong. And he says, and Rigby's like, dude, don't. And Muscle Man says, what did you say, bro? And High Fives Ghost is quivering at this point. Like the camera just is up close on him and he's quivering. He goes, well, whenever says, he goes, what do you mean, bro? And he adjusts the rear view mirror that is on the golf cart. I don't know if golf carts have rear view mirrors, but this one does. And he's like, well, whenever somebody says something like that, it's supposed to be your mom. And he goes, for example, you know who else has a gap in their teeth? And he goes, your mom. And at this point, Fives has turned around and he's like waving his hands like, don't. And then he says a few other things like, you know who else has swollen ankles? Your mom. You know who else? Such and such, your mom. And Rigby starts going on. He's like, you know who else finds their clothes in the garbage? Your mom. Mordecai says, you know who else lives in their car? Your mom. And then Muscle Man's eyes are like circling in his head. And you think he's getting real mad and everything. And then he's about to say the last one. He says, he's about to say, you know who else can't tell a your mom joke? Your mom. But all he gets out is, you know who else can't tell her? And then at that point, Muscle Man stops the cart and he turns around and he appears to be furious. So he says, are you making fun of my mom? And then he answers himself, you're making fun of my mom. Nobody makes fun of my mom. And just the whole, the repetition here. It's a trope that they're using here because he says mom a few times over and over. And then you hear somebody come through on the walkie-talkie. Is that somebody making fun of our mom? And it's Muscle Bro. That's his brother. Muscle Bro. That's his name. And he goes, yeah, bro, somebody's making fun of our mom. And he's like, oh no, bro. Yeah, bro. And they say bro like 4 or 5 times. And he's like, I'm coming up there, bro. So now Muscle Man turns around. He's like, you ladies are going to wish you're never born. And he goes, nobody makes fun of my mom. Nobody. And he says, get out of the cart. And they're all standing out there just like on this bare patch of like ground or grass or whatever. Muscle Man's pacing around like he's mad. And then the ground cracks open and it's like red. And this flaming semi truck, it's got a trailer on the back of it, just comes hauling out of the crack, the crevice in the earth, and it just parks on the earth, and the flames, they subside, and out steps this big old 7 foot tall looking bald guy that looks like Muscle Man. And he gets out, and we find out that this is Muscle Bro. He also has a mustache, and hair on the side of his head. So, yeah. So anyway, he's like, "Who's making fun of my mom?" And Muscle Man's like, "These guys. I think these guys are making fun of my mom." And he goes over and he shoves him down, and he's like, "Are you making fun of my mom?" And he goes, "I think they are making fun of my mom." It's kind of like that first episode of Regular Show where he's like, Does he want me to lay the hurt to him? Oh, I think he does, and they keep talking each other into stuff. Well, this is kind of what this is like. And he's like, "You hurt our mom's feelings. Now you're going to say you're sorry." And he pulls out a picture of what's supposed to be his mom. And it's this really ugly looking. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. It's this ugly looking lady. It looks like she has no hair with this face that kind of looks like it kind of looks like the model that'll be used for Starla later. Muscle Woman, that's a little bit of a spoiler there, but it's not the same model. But yeah, it's just really ugly ladies. Like, you're gonna say you're sorry to mom. So first they make them say that the picture's beautiful. So Mordecai's like, "You're beautiful, Miss Muscle Man's mom," and he's like, "Now kiss the photo and say you're sorry." So they both do that. And then Muscle Man says, "Fire up the grill, bro." So they throw a grill down, throw a match onto it, and it lights fire. And they take the picture and they smack it dab down on the grill, and then they flip it over like they're cooking it. And then he goes up and he says, "Now eat it or you'll be sorry." And they're like, "Please don't make me eat the picture." It says, "Now eat it." And he rips it in half and gives each one of them a side. And they start like chewing on the paper, and it's really pathetic. But they get about halfway through eating it, and then Muscle Man and Muscle Bro start cracking up, and they're like, "We got you good." And they're like, "What?" It says, "It was all a prank." And then High Five's ghost comes out of the bush, and he's like laughing, and he gives him 5, and he goes, "That's not even a picture." Muscle Man says, "That's not even a picture of my mom. It's just a picture of my butt that I squished up to look like a woman's face." So you look at it, and it's like, that's so disgusting, but it's hilarious. And he says, you guys want another? I have multiple prints." And he says, "That's right. I dabble in photography." He's like holding like 3 or 4 pictures in his hand, like it's dollar bills or something, or, hundreds. And he's like waving them back and forth. Ridiculous. So the scene cuts back to the park, and Skips and Benson are there again. And Skips hasn't said anything the whole episode. He really is early on. I think I said last episode, sorry, 2 weeks ago, bi-weekly show. He's kind of like Benson's right-hand man. Some of these early episodes, he doesn't say anything. So that's okay, though. But Benson's like, "Thanks, you two. I know I could count on you two." And he's talking to Muscle Man and Fives. And he says, "As for you two, next time you do something, do it right, or I'll have you be supervised every time," or something like that. And they walk off. Benson and Skips walks off, and the ending joke is Muscle Man's like, "You know who else is? Hey, Mordecai, you know who else has got to be supervised for not doing it right?" And of course, my mom. But this time he's got his shirt off on top of the golf cart, and he's doing the helicopter with it over his head, And Fives is doing the donuts, and they drive off, leaving ruts all in the yard, And then Mordecai, it cuts to him and Rigby, and he says, "I really hate Muscle Man." And then fittingly, Rigby says, "You know who else really hates Muscle Man?" And that's the end of it. So all in all, this episode, I think it was actually written really well, and it sets up a lot of stuff, sets up a lot of possible character development for these characters. This is the best Muscle Man episode so far. And quite frankly, it's early enough in the series where it's none of his stuff has become cliched or overdone yet. And not even saying that, like, I mean, they found really clever ways to kind of keep this whole trope, or a lot of the my mom jokes going on, and to expand upon the character. But they really pulled out a lot with character Muscle Man, a lot of his personality in this episode, and so much so that it's kind of hard to believe that his character doesn't grow old or it doesn't grow tiring to listen to some of his stuff by the end of the series, because we got a long way to go. But yeah, I mean, the stuff that they pulled out on this episode for just all the jokes. I mean, they probably had around close to 15 my mom jokes, and it's this episode's just dense. I mean, just dense with all kinds of just stuff from Muscle Man. And we even get the he likes pranks. That might be the first big prank that we've had from Muscle Man in the series, and that becomes a big regular staple with him. He always knows a guy, and he always loves a good prank, and he does my mom jokes, and great character. But yeah, I mean, this is a very tightly packed episode, much more so than I remember. I always remembered this episode having lulls here and there, but no, looking back, I don't think there's really many lulls. It may not be for everybody. I don't know, but I would imagine that for 12 minutes, this is a pretty entertaining episode. I mean, there's all the cop gag. I'd forgotten about that. That's just happens so fast, but it's so clever. Muscle Man, you break the law in all the right ways. And then the character of Bobby, just having him in there just for 2 lines, just where he can say, lift with the legs, Bobby, lift with the legs. So, I guess if I was going to say that there were any downsides to this episode, Pops wasn't in this episode. Benson didn't really get a whole lot of character development. Skips didn't have any lines. And High Five's Ghost, I guess, still isn't talking. So, but I mean, quite honestly, I can overlook all that because the stuff with Muscle Man was really that good. Sam Marin is really starting to deliver his lines as Muscle Man in a very strong and entertaining way. So, yeah, I'm very pleased with that. The taco clock truck, I mean, just little tiny details like that make this episode good. The montage, both montages were good montages. So, yeah, I can't think of, I mean, even the opening scene with the race against the clock to get the lemon tree back to the park on time. That little 10 or 15 seconds was very entertaining. So, I mean, it's hard to find a low spot in this episode. So, yeah, I mean, I guess overall, I would give this episode probably, I would say an 8, quite honestly. I mean, it's a great episode, and that is, I'm kind of reserved on saying that because the episodes do get better and they get more inclusive of the whole cast. But man, it's just kind of hard to argue with this being a good episode. I mean, just from watching it again, it's very focused on the dynamic between Muscle Man and Mordecai and Rigby. It's not a big, super epic Baby Duck Neon Evangelion episode. But what it does great, in my opinion. So it's really hard for me to argue against that 8. That's, I'm kind of reserved about saying that because if somebody wasn't into this, the episodes, they get more epic, they get larger, they become, I'm just repeating myself at this point, but they become more inclusive and they become more of they're just different types of episodes. This is still, I don't want to say low budget, but it feels like low budget regular show, but it definitely feels like good regular show, if that makes any sense, which it probably doesn't if you've never seen the series. Later on, it starts to feel like high budget regular show. So yeah, this is kind of like the punk rock of regular show, I guess, at this point, and it's good punk rock. So yeah, we're good there. I guess that's about all I have for this episode. So yeah, next week, man, that's a horrible habit I have. Next episode that we're going to talk about is High Score, and it's another one of those more focused episodes. That's becoming a theme here. I've noticed with this block of episodes that I said is really good. It really focuses on the dynamic between Mordecai and Rigby and then one other character. So we really get it's almost like we're breaking out of the origin stories, even though this really is kind of like really an introduction episode for Muscle Man. I mean, but it's kind of like, how the superhero movies do, Marvel Cinematic Universe. We got the origin stories, and then we got maybe a crossover between one or two characters. And then we get the whole Avengers type thing. Well, we're kind of in the crossover episodes now. We're still getting character development here and there for everybody, but we're seeing how they interact with each other. And that's where this show really shines, in my opinion. So next week we have High Score, and that one really is focused just on Mordecai and Rigby. It's the one where we get the infamous Garrett Bobby Ferguson and the what's his name, Billy Mitchell, the Billy Mitchell lawsuit. Well, if I can remember, we'll talk about that. You know, Billy Mitchell from the King of Kong took on Steve Wiebe, and now that dude, I reckon, is getting a lot of flack for lying or something. I'm not sure. I don't want to say that because he may sue me. I don't know. I don't want to, no, he won't. Who am I kidding? My 5 listeners, you guys aren't going to tell on me, right? But anyway, the character Garrett Bobby Ferguson is, you know what? We'll get into it. There's no way, as long as I see that character model, I'll remember to talk about this. There's no way that I won't remember this. I mean, it's just so obvious. But just in case I do forget, Garrett Bobby Ferguson is a villain with a giant beard on his face, and he resembles Billy Mitchell pretty strongly. You know, he's legally not Billy Mitchell, but he's vaguely similar. Actually, very similar. So Billy Mitchell didn't like that. He brought up a lawsuit against Cartoon Network, and he lost. So, yeah, there we go. We'll talk more in depth about that, hopefully, when the time comes. This episode, though, very good episode. Couldn't ask for a better one. So, yeah, let's see if there's anything else here. Alternate versions. The word morons was changed to idiots in the UK, and turds was changed to planks. I don't even remember anybody saying turds. Probably Muscle Man said it, though. This episode's banned in Australia. However, or it was banned, but the episode now airs as of 2013. MENA, I don't even know what that stands for. But the title card is changed to Muscle Man's Joke. Okay. Every use of my mom is changed to it's me or it's you. What the crap? The word grandma is removed. Muscle Man saying that's not even a picture of my mom. It's a picture of my butt cheek. I just squished it to look like a woman's face. Was removed in the 2017 reruns. What the crap? They just taking all the good stuff out of this episode. I bet you there's still worthwhile stuff in this episode, though. But man, taking a lot of the good stuff out of that episode. Oh well. Oh yeah, I forgot. Crap. We do have a sponsor now on this show, so I guess I need to cut to that now because we got to pay some bills around here. So I will see you on the other side of this hopefully awesome commercial. Wait, what? You're going to play him the whole thing? I guess this is a sample of the product where crap is it? We'll see, I guess.
Hello, sir, madam. Thank you for purchasing Uncle Rico's Placebo Gates Home Instructional VHS/Outdoor Laserdisc for learning how to make gains in the gym workout plan. Let's begin. On Monday, we're gonna do arms. And then on Tuesday, we do arms. On Wednesday, we do biceps. And then we go back that evening and do triceps.
And on Thursday, we do legs.
Oh, we don't do legs. On Thursday, we do arms. Twice. On Friday, we do chest.
And on Saturday, we do back.
No, we don't. On Saturday...
Please flip Laserdisc.
Are you serious?
Thank you for flipping the Laserdisc.
We do arms.
Oh, yeah. And then on Sunday, we do back, right?
No. On Sunday, we rest. Until noon, and then we go back in and we do arms.
Oh, yeah. Then we finish it off.
Yeah, with crunches and planks.
So forget crunches and planks, we do igloos and hot dogs. Eventually working our way up to an intense set of turkey rolls at an RPE of 8. Whatever that means.
Yeah. Super set it, right?
No way, boy. Even better.
You mean super duper set it?
So, boy, forget all that. These are montage sets because everybody knows that montages multiply gains.
Anything can happen in a montage.
Oh yeah, and let me tell you something else, boy. Uncle Rico only care about a couple things in this world, and that's your money and state football championship. And what good are those things if you ain't got a chest and guns, boy?
Oh, yeah, and then to help you with your gains, chase them down with placebo protein, sold separately.
Oh my goodness, I've never heard of this before. Please, do tell more.
Placebo protein is guaranteed to hyperdrive your gains. Does it really contain protein? Probably not. But who cares? Not you, because you're a winner.
That's right, I am a winner. Especially when I do the hot dog pose.
High quality placebo.
Yes, sir. Guaranteed to meet the label claims 10% of the time. Whatever that means.
Sold separately.
And be on the lookout for our next instructional tape/laserdisc. The Booty Got Me Like workout.
No, you cannot do that. You are not the booty goblin. I am the booty goblin.
Dude, what are you doing? Idiot.
What was that? What do you mean, what was that?
You can't be peddling crap to people. We gotta show.
That was not crap.
Nobody's ever gonna sponsor us again.
That's a high quality workout plan. You know what? Phil, right here. Phil, these
I don't
guns.
care.
Phil.
Put your guns away.
Don't touch them.
Booty got me. What? Booty
Yeah.
got me like what? What's that even mean?
You know, that's when the girl look at you and say, boy, that booty got me
I don't
like.
care. Look, I don't care.
I mean, obviously.
Keep having this
you
crap
don't
on
care.
you.
Oh, and they say it to me a lot because I'm the Booty
Shut
Got Me
your
Like
way.
guy.
No, you shut up.
Folks, I'm
You
sorry.
are
That
not
just
the booty
happened.
got me like shut your face. If the booty got me like
We may not be on the air anymore because we may not have any more sponsors. But thank you, Five, for listening.
We got them
all
lined up. They got the new ones coming
Hopefully,
on.
in a couple of weeks, we'll have another episode out. Probably without a sponsor. Until then, I'm that one guy doing the show about the regular show. Just a regular show about the regular show. Y'all have a good one.
Okay, dude,
Good episode this week.
Let's do Rush Hour 3. Y'all not invited, drink cup.
Yeah, well, kiss my booty got me like. Yeah, how you like that?
Can I be Chris Tucker this time?
No, get out. Go. Just go.
That booty got me like.
You gotta go too.